Hello, I'm Michael Dempsey with the Bryce's Crossroads Foundation, and I'd like to welcome you back to our Frontier video series. In this series, we're going to show you interesting connections between sites out west and our local Civil War history. So let's get started. Behind me, you can see what is just a small fraction of what is known as the Great Plains. And in the 1800s, America had this dream to span out across the continent of North America. This was known as Manifest Destiny. Manifest Destiny was more than just a slogan, it was a call to action. It was a call to bring the virtues of the American people and its institutions to the Western territories. But this land was far from vacant, and in order to secure their westward expansion, they would need to establish military outposts all along the frontier. Forts like this would have dotted the frontier, but upon the outbreak of the Civil War, many of the men stationed at places like this would be sent back east to fight. That would spark a manpower shortage across the West, with some forts even being abandoned altogether. But as the war raged on, soldiers would fill up the prison camps, and both sides were looking for creative solutions.
As you can imagine, life in a Civil War prison camp was awful, whether you were fighting for either side. Let's take, for example, Rock Island Prison Camp, located on the Mississippi River, separating Illinois from Iowa. During the 20 months of operation, some estimates have approximately 1,960 Confederate prisoners that would die, along with 170 guards. The poor conditions at camps like these would often result in soldiers opting to fight for the other side rather than risk dying in a prison camp. The Confederates that took this oath of allegiance would become known as Galvanized Yankees. In order to fill their manpower shortages and lessen chances of desertion, many Galvanized Yankee regiments would be sent far from home to frontier territories. The first of those units I'd like to share with you was partially stationed at Fort Kearny in Nebraska. The 3rd U.S. Volunteer Infantry was mustered from Rock Island Prison Camp and was comprised mostly of Tennesseans, but also had Kentuckians, Georgians, and Mississippians.
After passing through here, Fort Laramie, Wyoming, some elements of Galvanized Yankees would be sent further south to Fort Wise, Colorado. Now, Fort Wise was named after a man, Henry Alexander Wise, the 33rd governor of Virginia, an ardent secessionist. As you can imagine, his name on a federal fort didn't last too long. It would later be named Fort Lyon after Nathaniel Lyon, the first Union general to be killed in the Civil War. Now, his death would lead to Samuel Sturgis of Bryce's Crossroads taking his first major command. Fort Lyon unfortunately no longer stands, as it was destroyed by flooding not long after the Civil War. Well, we hope you enjoyed another installment of our Frontier video series. As always, we want to thank our members for supporting us, because without them, none of this would be possible. So if you haven't already, please consider joining the Bryce's Crossroads Foundation. And goodbye from Wyoming.